Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and I'd like to welcome you to the Millionaire Mentor. I'm sorry. Great. What a day. I'd like to welcome you to the Success Mentorship Call number 200 and actually number 113. So let me start this all over again. This is Dr. Herbert Harris, and I'd like to welcome you to the Success Mentorship Call number 113. As you know, this class is based on our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success. And today we're going to be dealing with Chapter 3, The Law of Vision and Imagination. So while we're doing the call today, those of you who are watching online, please share it with your friends and all the people that you really care about, and maybe even schedule a watch party so you can take advantage of this experience this morning. All right, let me get going. So this is Success Mentorship Call number 113, and our topic for today is expanding your power of imagination. Let me say that again. Expanding your power of imagination. I love to open with a couple of quotes. And you know, one of my idols is Albert Einstein. And Einstein has a beautiful quote, and he says, imagination, let me read it clearly, imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, where imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution. Einstein was a strong proponent of imagination, of a way to connect to your source, your power, your wisdom, your knowledge. Muhammad Ali had a great quote that I liked, and it said, the man who has no imagination has no wings. Muhammad Ali, the man who has no imagination has no wings. So, this topic today is actually number 2 in a series we've been dealing with imagination. And the reason we're taking a lot of time with this is that imagination is one of your most profound powers. I want to set a framework for you. All that we do is done in the context of 3 levels of consciousness, 3 levels of mind. We have the conscious mind, we have the subconscious mind, and we have the superconscious mind. And so imagination is the connecting link between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is basically the world of reality. We'll call it the world of effect. The superconscious mind is the world of cause. And the subconscious mind is the world of cause. The superconscious mind is the world of source. If we looked at it as a garden, for example, the subconscious mind is like the seed. In other words, it has all of the potential of becoming a plant or a food source, and the superconscious mind is like the earth. The process, we place that seed there and it grows. So imagination being a means to communicate between the conscious and the subconscious mind, which then creates a relationship with the superconscious mind. Imagination is a way to access all that is. There's a beautiful principle, and it says, seek first the kingdom, and all these things will be added unto you. Kingdom is consciousness. And so the principle says, seek first the consciousness, the awareness of that which you desire. And whatever it is that you desire will manifest in your life. when we say seek first, it's really about creating the vibration of that which you want. You know, when we talk about goal setting, we always say to be very careful to make sure that you write your goals and write your goal in such detail and in a sensory fashion so that you can see it, you can feel it, you can really become that goal. And that is so that you can create a vibration of what your goal is about. And so once the more intense the vibration you can create of that which you want, the more magnetic you become to attract that into your life, which is congruent with that you want. I often think about dreams. We often talk about dreaming and the idea of when you have a dream, no matter how far-fetched it may seem, to have a dream means that it is possible because it is the infinite intelligence communicating with your level of consciousness. Most of the time we dream when we're asleep. And that's a direct communication with your subconscious mind. And so if you have a dream, any dream that you have is possible. Now, it may not be possible in the way that you see it because you always see your dream from where you are, from the perspective you are at that time. For example, a person may dream of great wealth, and that's what he's pursuing or she's pursuing. And they see money, they see cars, they see all kinds of flashy things. But the truth of it is that the dream is really about happiness. And so as a result, when they have that dream and they plug into it, they eventually realize that it's all about happiness, how you feel, the joy of communion and being around people you know and love. And so although the dream that he had was of one thing, the essence of the dream was something else, and he realized that. So having a dream means that it's automatically possible, but you have to develop the consciousness to receive it. So the question is, if imagination is so powerful, and it is, how do I increase my ability to imagine? How do I expand my imagination? How do I expand my power of imagination? If imagination can lead me to the places that I want to be, to the things that I want to do, and to have the things that I desire to have, then how can I expand it? How can I make it more powerful so that it can work for me? Well, there are really three stages. First, to lay the foundation. And when I say lay the foundation, we're looking at three steps. Step one is to believe it can be done, that no matter what it is that your mind tells you, no matter what the vision, what the dream that you see, believe that it can be done. When you believe it, you are saying to yourself, it's possible. I can do it. When you believe that something can be accomplished, this belief sets a vibration in your mind that begins to attract that which you're dreaming about, that which you desire into your space. So believing that something can be done paves the way for it. Those of you who've lived on a farm, I know as a child, we would go up to visit my grandparents, my great-grandparents on my mother's side. We would go to their farm, and they had a pump to get water. And beside that pump was a cup, big cup. And in that cup was water. And I said, well, what's that for? And the purpose of that cup is to prime the pump. So before you start pumping, they would always pour water in, and that primed the pump. That literally made a connection between the pump and the source of water beneath. It eliminated that vacuum that would keep the water from coming up. And so when you believe something can be done, you're like priming the pump. You know, if you can, as a child, if you can imagine that you're very thirsty and that cup of water is there, and you have a choice between drinking it and then it's all gone, or pouring it into the pump to prime the pump. And so when we believe that it can be done, it's like saying, I know that this cup of water is here. I'm going to pour it into this pump because I know that there's water there and it's going to come to me. And so when you believe that it can be done, you're literally priming the pump, creating the vibration within you to attract that which you desire into your life. The second key is to eliminate the word impossible from your vocabulary. Now, this is an interesting statement because most of us would say, well, I never say that anything is impossible. I never say that it's impossible for me to be happy. I never say that it's impossible for me to have a good relationship, to accomplish, to achieve or accumulate wealth. I never say that. But we create the vibration of impossible in more subtle ways. For example, I can't remember. They're literally making it impossible to remember. I'll tell you another one. I don't understand. This is another way of saying it's impossible. The moment you say, I don't understand, you have created the vibration in you of lack of understanding. You know, next week we're going to talk about the conscious mind, the superconscious mind, and the subconscious mind, and putting that all together. And so the moment you say something, especially in terms of limitation, you have literally planted the seed and created that vibration so that exactly what you said comes to pass. Another one I don't like is I don't know what's going on. So many times I hear our young people, well, I don't know what's going on. I didn't know what was going on. So they literally close off their minds to the possibility of learning what's going on. I was confused. That's one. I was confused. So anything you say after I am, you become. I am is the making power. You know, in the spiritual principle, when just speaking allegorically, when Moses was told by God to go into Egypt to tell Pharaoh to let his people go, Moses said, well, who shall I say sent me? And God said, tell him I am sent you. I am is the making power. So whatever you put after I am, you are. One very subtle one is, you know what I'm saying. You know how many of the young people, they'll start to tell you something, they say, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying. And that's another wall because they're not able to communicate what it is that they're saying. And so to eliminate the word impossible from your vocabulary, from your thoughts, and eliminating that word on all levels. The third key to laying that foundation is to be receptive to new ideas. You see, exposure is a powerful concept. Exposure helps us see more than we are, helps us be more than we are, helps us see other possibilities. So to always be receptive to new ideas is saying, I am open and receptive. And then that permits your mind to now set up a stream of communication so that you can receive those new ideas. So that lays the foundation for expanding your imagination. The second key is to practice the process. The imagination is a skill, a learned, developed skill. At the Life Skill Institute, we say that life is a skill, master it. So imagination is a skill that you can learn, practice, and master it. And when you master it, it simply means that it is such a part of your internal operation system that you don't even have to think about it anymore. So how do we practice our imagination skills? Well, number one, and I like to call it meditation. Meditation is powerful. To establish a specific time and place each day to practice your creative imagination. And this should be a place that is conducive to thought and reflection, quiet, sort of cut off. You know, spiritually, they say go into the closet of your consciousness. That does a couple of things. Number one, just simply the fact that you have set up a time to practice imagination is like priming the pump. You're literally saying you're open and receptive to your ability to expand your imagination. You see where I'm going with this? That the law of expectation says that whatever you expect, so whenever you set out to practice a skill, to learn, practice, and master a skill, you've already set up the vibration to bring that skill into your space. You've already primed the pump. That once you establish that specific time and place to do a daily meditation, number 2 is begin to develop the habit of using your mind for new ideas. Now, when we talk about exposure, it's so important to recognize that our minds are like rubber bands. And the more we stretch them, the more we can stretch them. It's just that our minds never break. Okay? They don't have that limitation. So our minds are literally have infinite possibility. It's only limited by our own perception and conception of what our possibilities are. If we see ourselves as limited, then our subconscious mind manufactures limitation and creates that reality for us. Number 3, to think in new, expanded dimensions beyond what you're accustomed to thinking. And when we look at that, a process that I like to use is what I call if I did know. So many times you're confronted with something, a situation or an experience, and you may not know what to do. You flip the switch. The switch. That's a good one, a switch. Never seen a switch before. You flipped the switch so that you now say, well, I don't know. That's a thought of limitation. Close out I don't know and say, if I did know, what would I do? If I did know, how would I do it? If I did know. And so that sets up the foundation for you to now approach things, from a new perspective, to approach things from a different way of thinking than you normally do. So much of our thoughts have been conditioned on words and concepts of limitation. And so this, if I did know, if I could do it, then eliminates that and gives you a bridge between where you are and where you want to go. Number 4, participate in activities and exercises that expand you as a person. In street terms, get off the porch, go out into the world, do something new every day, go someplace you've never been, meet people that you don't know, get out of your comfort zone, make yourself a little uncomfortable. When we are uncomfortable, that brings about growth. Complacency is really where we become totally comfortable with what is, and so we don't grow anymore. Growth is all about creating discomfort to bring about resolution, to bring about the next phase. Birth is an absolute example of growth. We create life through the birth process, but every mother will tell you it's painful, but they're willing to go through the pain to experience the benefits of birth and of having children. So participate in these experiences that expand your consciousness. And 5, develop your emotions and instincts of wonder. Someone said, but Dr. Harris, how do you do that? One of the things that I find that's most effective is just to go for a walk in the park, to commune with nature. I like to go outside. My daughter and I go out in the morning. Sandra, we go out in the morning and sit on the porch and listen to the birds. We make it our intention to go out and look at the flowers in the yard, in the backyard, look up at the trees. That when you begin to expand your emotions and your you might say your power of wonder, your instincts of wonder, you can say, wow, that is beautiful. Wow, I wonder how that grows. You ever look at a flower and say, man, that is amazing that a flower can grow. gosh, with all the computer technology, all the scientific development we've had for the last 10,000 years, we can't create one flower. We may take a seed, but we can't create one seed, abstract from what the world has given us. And so this instinct of wonder is to just look at things and say, wow, I wonder how that happened. I wonder how that grows. I wonder why it looks like that. That, once again, is priming that pump to open up your mind, to open up the channel between your conscious, your subconscious, and your superconscious mind. So once you really begin to lay that foundation, practice the process, then the third part is to understand the process. And I made this third rather than first because as you practice the process, you will become more aware of how it works. A lot of life is about assuming the process so that you can then get the understanding of what it's about. So how do we understand the process? Well, the first step is to realize that genius, that imagination, that creative imagination does not come through your five senses. It comes through a sixth sense. We call it your subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind is that sixth sense that we all have. And so once you realize that, then you are really acknowledging the presence of your subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is really that sea of, you might say, cause. If the world we live in is effect, the subconscious mind is cause. This embodies faith. We often say faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So faith is priming that pump to say, I don't see it. I can't feel it with my five senses, but I know it's there. Many of you, many of us, because we're all in the same boat, just different parts of the boat. But many of us, when we look at our five senses, we see no evidence of the greatness that's possible. Les Brown always talks about the greatness within. And so if we look at our immediate surroundings and our five senses, we don't see the greatness that's possible. But through your imagination, you are able to recognize that sixth sense, that subconscious mind, to say, I know it's there. Second, to realize that your imagination, the sixth sense operating through your subconscious mind, gives you the power to not only experience it through your five senses, but gives you the power to dwell on whatever you're seeking, whatever you desire, to dwell on it with such intensity that you become magnetic and draw it into your life. Once again, it's that pump. It's priming that pump. It talks in the Bible, it says about to go to the promised land. It says, walk the width and breadth of the promised land. The symbology there, the promised land is whatever you desire, your promised land, your goals, your vision, your purpose. And to walk the width and breadth of it is to experience it in every way. And so your imagination can bring into your consciousness the ability to feel and see and smell with all your sensory abilities that which you desire, which then creates the vibration to attract it into your life. The third key to understanding that process is to realize that all of your creativity comes from your subconscious mind. That the beauty of the subconscious mind is that any thought, any idea, anything you place into that subconscious mind, when you go inside in that subconscious mind, it objectifies, it manifests in your life. The subconscious mind, we'll talk about this next week, is non-judgmental. In other words, the subconscious mind is like fertile dirt. And whatever seed you put into that fertile dirt will grow. You can put a seed of love, and the subconscious mind will create love, flowers. You can put a seed of hate, and the subconscious mind will create weeds. That whatever seed, whatever thought you put into that subconscious mind grows. And so this helps us with our imagination. If you remember, we said to eliminate impossible from your vocabulary. So anything that you put into your subconscious mind, we must be diligent to protect what we permit to come into our subconscious mind, because otherwise it will objectify. So when we say, I don't know, your subconscious mind objectifies, I don't know, and so you don't know. You'll never find the answer. When you put into your subconscious mind doubt, it objectifies doubt, so you can never go forward. You literally become paralyzed. And then the fourth key there is to stand your ground and be positive. Now, what do I mean? The subconscious mind operates non-judgmentally. And so the yin-yang aspect of the universe says that for every positive action, there's a negative reaction. And so you have to stand your ground and be positive to know that anytime you permit a negative thought to come into your mind, and it will. Whenever we try to move and do things, that first thought that comes in our mind is doubt. Okay? And doubt can stop us right there, because whatever we put there in that subconscious mind is going to objectify, is going to grow. And so to stand your ground and be positive. So when doubt comes, it's not for me. Criticism. Woo! Criticism can stop you in your tracks. When you become, when you accept the criticism of others, it planted in your subconscious mind, it objectifies, paralyzes you. Fear. When you're so afraid inside that you can't take action, it paralyzes you. So when we say stand your ground and be positive, you have the ability to make the subconscious mind work for you, and it works for you by what you plant in it. Those positive ideas, those good thoughts, those great things. And so, let us summarize today. How do you expand your imagination? You lay the foundation. Believe that you can do it. Eliminate negativity and impossibility from your thoughts. And be receptive to new ideas. You practice the process. You establish that specific time each day in that place where you can develop your skill of meditation and communication with your subconscious and thus your superconscious mind. You become receptive to new ideas, become like a sponge. Your mind is like a rubber band, and the more you stretch it, the greater the capacity to be stretched. You think in new, expanded ways. Get outside the box. You participate in activities that expand you. Meet new people, do new things, go new places. Someone once said, every year you should go somewhere you've never been. 5, develop that instinct of wonder, to always ask why. You remember kids, they always say, why, what? To maintain that instinct of wonder, because every time you ask why, you're priming the pump for more knowledge. And then 3rd, understand the process. Recognize that your creative genius comes through your subconscious mind, and so you must be diligent about what you put in there. Recognize that your sixth sense, your imagination, can create through your 5 senses the ability to be, do, and have whatever you desire. To realize that all creativity comes from your subconscious mind. And so all you have to do is to seek, and you will find. You know, as we are wrapping up, that always amazed me. Seek and you will find. Knock and it shall be opened. Ask and it shall be answered. The thing it never says is how long. And see, the creative process says you do it until you get the results. And then 4th, to always be positive, to be diligent, knowing that negative things can come into your mind just as weeds grow in the garden. And you have to be diligent to stop it. And so, friends, when you can do these things, when you can lay the foundation to expand your imagination, when you can practice the process so that you get good at it, when you understand the process and recognize how the entire universal process works, then you can create a blueprint for your life that can guide you to your goals, that can help you realize your vision, and can help you live your purpose, knowing that the best is yet to come. And so it is.